What is up, YouTube? In this video, we're going to go over iOS 18.2. This software update was released earlier this week for all iPhones that run iOS 18. So we're going to do two videos on this update. This one's going to be the base update for all iPhones, whether it supports Apple Intelligence or not. All the iPhones will get all the features that are in this video. So we're going to do that first, and then the next video is going to be all on the new Apple Intelligence features. Once again, if you have an iPhone that is not supported with Apple Intelligence, which is pretty much the iPhone 15 Pro or older, this video is for you because you will see all these changes. And if you have an iPhone that's 15 Pro or newer, you can watch this one and then go to the Apple Intelligence update video where I'll show you all the changes that were added to that. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and install this update. First, I'm just showing you how much it takes. It's about 2.01 gigs. And if you have Apple Intelligence, it will be about 2.3 gigs. So once again, it's going to replace what's already on your phone. It's not going to add 2 gigs of usage. So don't worry about losing memory there. So we're going to go ahead and install this update and then go through all the changes that are for every iPhone, even if you don't have Apple Intelligence support. Keep in mind, there's also iPadOS, watchOS, macOS. The whole suite has been updated. So now we're going to install it and get to it. Now that we got everything updated on the iPhone here, we're going to start the video with the maintenance part of it. So if you ever watch any of my videos and you know every time I update iOS, I always recommend doing these things to ensure that your iPhone is most compatible with this update. So all your applications and settings and stuff, we do this just to make sure that everything runs smoothly when you update to a new firmware. So we're going to go ahead and start with updating all your applications. This is important because Apple changes some stuff in the background on iOS, so you want to make sure your apps are able to work with it without having any issues. So make sure you update your applications because they more than likely have changed with iOS 18.2 to better work with that update. Once you do that, then we're going to go to settings, then go to general, and then go to about, and then if there's carrier setting updates, it will be here. This is to ensure that you get the most stable cell connection when you use your cell phone part. So make sure you update that if that does populate, so you get the best connectivity when you're using your texting and all that. So now that you got that out of the way, we can begin going over the new features. We're going to try and do this from least important to most important. So the first thing that we're going to go for is the photos. Not much has changed here. It's just a little bit of UI improvements and quality of life improvements. Like, for example, I'm demonstrating here that you can scrub through videos frame by frame now. So when you use the scrubber feature, you can see milliseconds. This is to ensure that you can get precise scrubbing to find whatever part of the video you're looking for. And then also underneath, you can now see that there's all your photos in a carousel setting there. You don't have to click buttons to get to it. It's all just there. So if you want to swap between photos like in the past, you can now do so. So they kind of brought that back, which is pretty nice because that helps a lot. Next up is going to be the AirTag function. This is really important if you use Apple AirTags. You can now share links to friends and family or even some companies to help you find items that you lost. This only works for AirTags, so once you discover that you lost something, you just go to the AirTag item, and then you'll see a share AirTag link there. You click it, and eventually you will get to the part where you create a link, and then you can share it with people you trust. You can control the link, making it whoever can see it. You can even terminate the link so it doesn't share anymore, so you can have really fine controls. This is really good, for example, with airlines, as Apple introduced this where you can talk to an airline, like in this case United Airlines. They confirmed that they are now accepting these. So if you lose a piece of luggage, you can tell them, hey, I lost it. Here's the AirTag link. Can you help me find it? and they can be able to traverse their facility and help you locate your luggage and bring it back to you, so you don't have to do all the work and deal with all the communicating with employees and stuff. So this is a really cool feature, one that I think is really useful. So if you use AirTags, this is good for you. You can now share links with friends and families and even companies to find your things. So pretty cool. Next up is Mails. So Apple added categories to the Mails app. So basically now you can switch between different categorization options in Mails to find emails faster. You see we have promos, messaging, and primary. You can also customize these as you like, but it makes it so much easier to get through emails, especially for those that don't really organize their emails. You can now just sort through them via the categories. You can also turn this off if you're not really interested in this. So if you aren't interested in the categories, then you can go to the top right of the screen and tap the little menu here. And then it'll show a few options you can choose, and one of them is go back to list view, and that will basically revert all the categorization. So if you don't like it for whatever reason, you can go back to its original layout. So I'm going to keep mine on because I do think this is useful. It helps you sort through all the junk mail that you tend to get whenever you sign up for things. So this will help you find important emails faster and keep things kind of in check. So as I demonstrate here, all the categories, and once again, you can customize this in settings. So this is a good change, in my opinion, for the email. Next up, we're just going to do a light change for Safari. So in Safari, they added an ability to add a background to your homepage, I guess you'd say. So in the homepage, as you see, you can choose between the different backgrounds here, or add your own custom one, any photo you like. And yeah, it just makes it a little bit more personalized. And every time you open a new homepage to start searching for anything, you'll see that background as shown. So it's a little minor change, but it's one that's, I guess, kind of useful. So next up, we're going to do the Apple Music. So Apple Music added the ability to use natural language to search for music and, well, just find music better. So you can now search for things like 90s hype music, as I have there, and you can find music that matches that search. This makes it easier to find what you're looking for, and if you have a hard time maybe pinning down a song, you can just type in the year and what kind of song it is, R&B, hype music, maybe breakup music, whatever. You can just type in that and it'll help you find it just a little bit better. So that's a pretty cool feature. Just makes it kind of AI-esque. And then here's some new radio stations. They added 3 of them. One's an EDM channel, the other one's a chill music channel, and I forgot what the third one was, but just a few more radio stations you can utilize to discover new music in the genre that you are interested in. So some nice little additions to Apple Music. Next up is podcasts. So they added categories to podcasts now. So in the podcast app, if you go to the search tab, you can see where it says add categories, and this will allow you to find categories that you're interested in and follow them, and anyone that makes a podcast in that subject will be added to your follow, and you can now find them. So it makes it easier to find new podcasters and keep up to date on the subjects that you find interesting. This is really cool if you use podcasts, because I know it's hard to find people that you found interesting in podcasting. So this will help you discover new people and keep up to date on your favorite subjects. So once again, you can add categories in podcasts and stay up to date on the things you find interesting. Next up is camera control. So I'm just going to demonstrate here, but you can lock the exposure and I believe depth effects. So if you like to use these, you can now set them and then lock them in place, so you don't have to keep setting them up. Now it's not on by default, so I'm just showing you how to get to it. And then to get to it in settings, you just got to go to the settings, go to the camera extension, and then go to camera control, and then it will say right there AEAF lock. That is the ability to lock it. Now you have to use the camera control gestures to lock it in place. I believe you go to it, press it, and hold it. Don't physically click it, but use the force press and then lock it in place. And then that way you don't have to keep messing with the setting whenever you use the camera. So that's a cool little addition if you like to use camera control. And as I'm showing you here, just a little bit more additions to camera control, just making it more accessible. You can open applications and stuff. So just a little bit more customization for the camera control button. That doesn't even include the Apple Intelligence additions that were added also, but we'll go on that later in the next video. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the voice memos. You can now add layering to voice memos. This is really good for those that do vocals, or just anything that requires multi-track. You could do, I believe, up to 2 tracks, but yeah, you can now add layering to your voice memos to help you jot down ideas. It's pretty cool, especially if you like to do on-the-fly singing or maybe a simple track idea. This is a good way to track it down, and you can now add multiple layers and mix them in to try and get that sound you're looking for, so you don't lose the idea, because I know that happens a lot for those that are creative. So this is a cool addition. You can also import it directly into Logic Pro if you're on a 16 Pro or Pro Max, so that's a good feature. So now we're going to do a final setting here. This is going to be a volume control setting you can now add in accessibility. So if you like to use the on-screen volume, you can now permanently put it on the lock screen whenever you use media. So I'm going to play some media right now and show you what it currently is like. So if you use any media, then you know that the volume scrubber is never there. It's just to get through your media, so the time scrubber per se. Now you can add the volume scrubber like it was in the past by going to settings, then going to accessibility, and then going to audio and visual. So whenever you find that setting, you go there, and then there's a toggle that says always show volume controls, and when you click it, it will do as it says. It will show the volume controls on the lock screen, and you can scrub it through there like it was in the past. There's also a volume limit setting that's added. I believe this is in parental controls or somewhere along those lines, but you can set a volume limit to limit the output volume regardless of how high someone puts it. So this is kind of useful for kids or anyone that may have a volume control issue. You can now do that. So that's basically everything in iOS 18.2 that's not Apple Intelligence based. So now the next video I'm going to do is all about Apple Intelligence. So I hope this one helped you. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll do my best to answer it. And stay tuned for that video. I will do my best to cover all the Apple Intelligence features and anything that's changed for those that support it, the iPhones and stuff that support it. So I will see you on that video. So if you have any questions, once again, let me know, and I'll do my best to answer them. But I will catch you on the next one. Peace.